Hello, happy new day. I'm Barbara de Engel. I'm an astrologer, a tarot reader, and I also specialize in giving people messages from their spirit guides as well as telling them about their aura. I have a question from Jannie, who asked me to do an astrological reading for him as well as read his aura and see if there are any messages from his guides. So I'm going to start off, first of all, with reading Jannie's aura. Takes a moment to tune in. Jannie, when I tune into your aura, there are many swirls of color in your aura. It's almost like you're in a spiral. There are bands of color moving around through your aura, and the colors that I'm seeing are a dark red and a dark green interspersed with yellow, and you almost look like a cross between a Christmas decoration and an Easter egg. The reds and greens are moving around like this, and then there's a layer of brown moving on the outside of your aura. So looking at those colors, I would assume that at this point in time, you're thinking very intensively and dealing with some things that require you to be extremely practical and grounded. But it's not easy because it almost feels like do you think you've dealt with one thing, then there's another coming along. So this has caused quite a bit of turbulence in your aura. And right at the top of your aura here, where your connection to the world of spirit is, there's a very pale, it's like a little spiral of pale blue and pale violet. And when I see these colors together here, it would suggest that there's so much that's dragging your attention down onto the physical level that you're finding it really difficult to actually slow your mind down so that you can meditate. The dark red suggests that there's a great deal of energy that you need to be applying, and I think you're probably feeling a little bit frustrated. The body might be tired. There may be a physical constraint, and this could make it very difficult for you to feel like you can actually relax into the space around you. So the dark green that I'm seeing, there's a desire to grow, but it's almost not. It's not happy at the moment. You feel you want to grow, but you can't just because of all the other things that you're dealing with. But I have to come back to this little spiral, which is for me a great indicator that there are lessons for you to learn through your meditation. But it's really important that you are able to focus your mind and move your awareness up. Despite all of this stuff, you need to actually be able to ignore the other concerns and just connect yourself to your source. And I'm looking at the colors. I think you perhaps haven't had enough time or made enough time to meditate regularly. So from what I see in your aura, I'm going to suggest that you schedule meditation for yourself at least twice and sometimes 3 times a day until you can feel your energies settling, because your aura is very closely drawn and it's almost like elongated. It's like you're almost standing in a coat of armor. So you want to be able to connect and to feel your energy settle so that you can start to feel more expansive, which I think is more in line with what I'm seeing in your horoscope. So I'm going to stop this recording right here, and then I will do your horoscope analysis in another recording. Okay, Jannie, let me have a look at your astrological chart. I've made some notes here. And as you know, you were born when the sun was in the sign of Virgo. But at the time of your birth, the moon was in the sign of Leo. So that gives you a very powerful emotional nature. You're outgoing, you're friendly, you have got a very strong character. This could make you a very good director or executive of some kind, and it also gives you a strong drive to almost take charge wherever you see things need to be sorted out. Now, with the Sun in Virgo, you have a great need to be of service to other people, and with the Moon in Leo, you have a strong sense of knowing how you can actually step in to help people. So you may find yourself in a managerial position. You may find yourself just taking charge of family issues, or perhaps helping friends out to sort out a problem. So there's a very strong and helpful side to your nature. At the time that you were born, the sign of the degree that was on the eastern horizon was around about 20 degrees Virgo. So you come across as a very strongly Virgo person, where people will see you as serious and strong and reliable, and you love to be of assistance to people, but this can sometimes make you very serious. While you can be light-hearted, you tend to see life in a very serious light. And for you, there's a lot of times where you see life as black and white. You don't even want to see the gray. It's either right or it's not right. And this can make you a very intense kind of person. At the time that you were born, the Sun was in a tight conjunction with Pluto, the planet of regeneration, discovery, insight, depth, and power. So you are very aware of the balance of power, not only in yourself, because you're very strong, and if you put your mind to it, you can do things where other people can't. So you're a very effective kind of person, but this can make you sometimes a very strong and difficult person to be with, because you have such an intensity. And looking at your chart, I would surmise you hide a lot of that, but you know that when you set your mind to do something and you focus on it, you can accomplish great things. Now, this very Pluto that has given you that drive has now moved around the zodiac into your 5th house. Now, in the zodiac, the 5th house is the house of pleasure and fun. So you bring the planet that says, let's focus, let's be serious, let's change things, and you put it in the house of fun. And what do? I would surmise you have been wondering why you just can't seem to relax. It's like you can't give up and give in and enjoy things. So you have been challenged to reinvent the part of your life that is connected to creativity, children, romance, love, and just plain pleasure. So there's a question to ask yourself, a couple, is what makes your life beautiful, fun, and what brings you pleasure? These are things that you need to look at and try and figure out for yourself, because it's vitally important that you find a way to invest in your own emotional fulfillment. And this is something that a lot of men struggle with, but I'm sure the lady in your life could give you some insight. And for you, you're having to learn that life is more than just being and doing. In fact, you need to find the pleasure in the things that you do. So you may need to teach yourself or learn the art of living graciously. So while you often tend to be overly serious and intense, remember, that's your old normal. You're moving to something new, and it's a process that will take some time to recreate. The planet Neptune, which rules spirituality and confusion, is currently transiting your 6th house. Now, in astrology, the 6th house is what you do, where your health is administered and signified, and the kind of money that you get paid for the work that you do. Now, Neptune's a planet that can cause a whole lot of confusion. So while you may be thinking of how you can apply your money to make life better for yourself and other people, the people around you are reflecting to you that they aren't playing the game regarding finances as such. So this transit of Neptune is a long-term transit. You've probably found that the last 14 years have been very, very challenging in finding meaningful employment and perhaps being paid what you actually deserve. So this is a time for you to relook at what you have to offer and how you sell yourself to the rest of the world. You may also find that your serious approach to life can almost make it feel like nobody really understands who you are or where you are. So you may find that you're called on to give support to other people, and you need to make sure that you take time to look after yourself as well. Then you have the planet Uranus, which rules unexpected change, moving through the sixth house of your shared resources and money that you get from other people. And the flow of this energy is going to be stop-start, forward, backward, happy, not happy, something happening, nothing happening. And it's going to continue like this until March next year. And from then on, the aspect eases up, and you're going to find it a lot easier to deal with the financial issues. But along with all of that comes a great need to manage the health issues properly, because so much stress, and I see the dark red and the dark green in your aura, all tell me that you find stress rather difficult to deal with. And it's very important to understand that you're in a process. This is a long-term thing, and that you maybe need to just step down a little bit. Stop expecting yourself to do perfect things when the world around you is very imperfect, and rather just relax into this process and trust that by the time you get to March, April next year, the energies will have changed and it will be easier for you to see your way ahead. But these are challenging aspects, and many of these particular aspects that are affecting you are affecting everybody. They're what we call generation planets. So everybody during these times is forced to reinvent themselves, to deal with confusion in some area of life, and to find ways and means that they can be more proactive and reinvent who they are and what they have to offer for the world. So I hope this gives you some insight into the very basic and very eye-catching planetary energies that are affecting you. And I'm going to say it'll soon feel easier. So just hang in there, make sure that you do your meditation every day, and just remind yourself to relax and enjoy the life that you have right now. Don't go away. I'll be back in a moment. All right, Jannie, I've been tuning into your spirit guides, and there are actually several. Let me see who's first. There's a lady that stands to the left of you with very fair hair, almost white hair, but she's not old as in we see people as old, and she doesn't appear to be anybody that you've ever known in this lifetime. So this is your spiritual guide. She stands with the, oh my word, I don't know if you've ever seen where there's a ceremonial procession and there's somebody that walks in front with a staff or a baton or something, and she's holding on to this baton. And she speaks very much to the part of you that seeks spiritual guidance. Okay. And she stamps this wand, this mace or baton, she stamps it on the ground regularly to remind you that it's very important to earth yourself and connect to the earth. She says because you would do well to connect to the earth energy as well as whatever else you're trying to accomplish. Bring yourself onto the earth. It might be a good idea to even just take your shoes off and walk outside, but make the point of connecting to the earth, because the earth is the stable, the unchanging energy that your body draws its energy and strength from. Okay, she moves away. There's another very interesting guy that you have. All I can see is his hand coming from behind your head and tapping you here. And it's almost like he's trying to remind you of something that you learned a long time ago that you seem to have forgotten. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to understand this message. It's almost like he's showing me, when you were a kid and you made butterflies, shadow pictures of butterflies against the wall, in front of a light. And he's saying, he's almost like tuning into your other guide who says, in order to fly with the wings of spirit, you have to remember that you can only fly above the earth, in the earth's atmosphere. When you try really hard to do that out of yourself, when you sit to meditate and allow your spirit to float up like a butterfly, he says that's when he can step in and connect with you. And he says, that's what you've forgotten. I get a strong feeling that you used to be able to do something like this when you were young, and that for some reason or other you may have lost it. And he's asking you that you allow yourself to just release all those preconceptions, all the limiting beliefs and thoughts that were there, and just allow yourself to connect to him. And he stands behind you, so that tells me I'm not allowed to see him and tell you anything about him, but he says you will recognize his presence. Just a tip. It looks like he's quite short because I just see the little hand like that. So I hope that gives you some insight there. And then I have somebody else who stands to the right of you, but at a distance away. And I think this is one of your guys who has been observing you through a period, I'm told, of extreme personal pressure. And that's the pressure that is meant to forge a closer connection between yourself, your lower self, and your higher self. That connection. And he's just watching and observing to see if you are going to make that a part of your future development. And he's not saying you should do it or you shouldn't. It's up to you. But he says that is something that you could begin working on as you start to take your next step forward on the path that leads you to who you should be, to what you should be. And you will understand this because you have been feeling for a long time that there's growth needed, but you haven't understood where. But the messages that come from all three of these guides may give you some clues that you can begin to decipher and start to use for your own personal growth. So I hope this gives you some inspiration and encouragement not to stop working on yourself. Thank you.